Hey, and thanks for joining us on this week's episode of For All Things Lexington, the only show dedicated to Lexington, South Carolina, and where a spade is always a spade. Here we'll talk to and about people, places, groups, things to do, and places to go in and around Lexington, South Carolina. I'm your host, Angela Barrett, and this is For All Things Lexington. Brought to you in part by GervaisStreetBridge.com, Columbia's most unforgettable free-to-list business directory. Okay, so we talked about the adoption process, and you said it can take, I guess, as little as a week or, a little less than a week. Is there a particular kind of dog that y'all get more than others? I mean...
Not really. We get, and it depends, it kind of depends on who's calling us and asking for help, what shelters are getting in. There are a lot of pit bulls in shelters. Yeah. So we get a lot of requests for help.
And they're so sweet, though.
Sweet.
If raised
they're
correctly.
Sweet. Yes, if raised correctly. We have a mix of dogs. So we take all breeds, all ages, all sizes. So we usually have a little bit of a mix. Sometimes we'll have a lot of small dogs for whatever reason.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, we're getting,
larger
dogs. And it's sometimes, I don't know if it's cyclical, but you just never know. You never know what you're going to get.
And is it true that larger dogs are harder to adopt out than smaller dogs?
The smaller dogs do tend to go faster. I will say when people take a look at our website, if you're interested, I always tell people that come in, if you're interested in a smaller dog, watch our Facebook page, because oftentimes we'll post dogs that we're going to be getting in to our Facebook page, just as kind of a little preview. Yeah. And small dogs go fast. People will jump on putting applications in, and by the time you get maybe to the first adoption event, after they're already being adopted because someone has submitted an application for them.
So today I went to the Facebook page and looked at the dogs that were there, and two things that I found very strange, this type of dogs. The first one I found was a Shih Tzu. I don't know why anyone would not keep it. I had one for many, 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 many years, and Corky was my love. They hardly bark. They are, they don't really shed, and they're just, mine was like 10 pounds. I know that some of them are bigger, but I'm like, I can't imagine somebody who would not keep a Shih Tzu. But
sometimes with smaller dogs, and this is a little bit of a generalization, those dogs may come from older owners who have maybe passed away,
right,
or have to go into assisted living and cannot take their dog with them, and they don't have a family member that's able to take them. Sometimes that happens often. And that happens probably more often with the smaller dogs than it does with the larger dogs.
Right. So. And the other funny one, there were 2 coon hounds on there. Again, why would somebody not keep their coon hound?
That's probably Luke. Maybe Luke and Charlene.
Because they are, again, I think of them sort of having the same personality, maybe as a Great Dane. I mean, they're bred for this, and after that, well,
they're kind of escape artists, though. And sometimes
they can be.
Can't do
but
that.
they'll come back if you're feeding them.
One of the dogs was probably Luke. Luke he's red bone coon hound. He's a wonderful dog, but he has a strong prey drive. And so he probably really needs an experienced owner. And the man who is fostering him is a wonderful foster. He actually has 2 hounds of his own. So, and he's really been working very hard with Luke. But Luke, when they go for walks in the neyborhood, if you're not paying attention and Luke sees a squirrel, Luke might pull you down the street. So,
but they're pretty faithful dogs.
They are pretty faithful dogs.
Come back.
Yeah,
it might be a couple of days, but they'll come back.
Well, we don't want them to escape. That's one thing we don't want.
I know. I grew up obviously with hunting dogs, coon dogs, and so I was like, coon dog. doesn't want a coon dog? But those are the two that I found that were interesting to me. Was the little Shih Tzu and the coon dogs. That was funny. Tell me all the areas that you guys serve.
So we're based in Irmo because the ladies who started the organization lived in Irmo. And they had volunteered with another rescue there. And like I said, in 2010, decided to start their own rescue. They are still with us. But we serve, Irmo, Lexington, Columbia. We do adoption mostly in those areas.
Sure.
We do have folks that have adopted from, Somerville, up Rock Hill, Charlotte area, and take dogs. We've had a couple of out-of-state adoptions. We don't do those as often. Most of our adopters are local to us.
Was it a particular kind of dog they were looking for? Or?
Sometimes they had a connection. They may have known a volunteer, or they were in the area. We still do the same screening process. Sure. For our puppies that have not been spayed or neutered yet, we spay and neuter them at about 6 months of age. So we prefer that adopters be within 50 miles of Irmo so that they can come back to our vet and be spayed or neutered. But other than that, we generally don't have restrictions, but most of our adoptions are local.
And you said y'all have vets that you work with. So how many, we don't need a name, but how many veterinarians do you have that work with you guys?
Right now we have 4 practices that we work with.
That's good. Now, what are some of the biggest challenges Homeward Bound faces? I mean, what are
I think the biggest one is having enough fosters. In my opinion, I think it would be nice to have around 35 fosters. And I will say that even if you're not sure that you'd want to foster permanently, like have a dog all the time, sometimes our fosters want to go on vacation or have to go out of town or have some kind of a little emergency that they needed somewhere temporary for their foster to go. Even if you could be a temporary, if you say, I'd really rather just be a temporary foster, that would be helpful as well to us. And of course, funding is always important. We have folks that give regularly. We have organizations that do donation drives for us, for supplies.
Now, what are some of the fundraisers? You said fundraisers. What are some of those?
We participate in Midlands Gives every year, if you're familiar with that. We do T-shirt sales. We had a homeowners association that did, and I had never heard of this before. I'm from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Pennsylvania. Did a poker run for us every year. And I had to find out what that was, but that was pretty exciting. And
motorcycles or boats?
No, it was a run in their neighborhood.
I've never heard of an actual run.
Yes, it was a run around the neighborhood, and you got your poker hand. They had stops along the place.
Cute.
And yes, so they raised money for us. That was a lot of fun. And we try to go out to support those as well and take some dogs and show our appreciation for that. Let's see, what other things have we done? We had, one of our T-shirt sales, which was really kind of fun, was for our 10th anniversary. We had a photo contest from our adoptable dogs. So we raised money from the photo contest. Everyone could vote. People could nominate their dogs and vote. And then the top 10 vote getters were put on a 10th anniversary shirt. And then we sold the shirt. So that was kind of a double fundraiser, but that was a lot of fun too. And we were really excited to get participation in it. A fundraiser that we had a law firm in Columbia actually hosted for us was the Four-Legged 4K. Yes. And that was a lot of fun. It was pretty popular. That law firm has since, the partners dissolved the law firm and they've gone their separate ways. So they're not in a position to do it anymore. But Homeward Bound is trying to revive that since it was so popular. And we're hoping to be able to do it next year. And it was, when the law firm hosted it, was in the spring in April, but we're looking at maybe moving it to the fall, like in October.
So if anybody out there wants to sponsor a
That's
4K,
right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Hey, Tony.
I'll give you a little plug there.
Thank you. So that was a popular one, and we often called it the mini Homeward Bound reunion because we had a lot of folks who would bring their dogs that they adopted, and it's a family. It's really a family event. It's more of a fun run than a serious race.
Yeah.
So
Right. I had a question. I'm sorry. I just lost it.
I'll interject here while you think of your question. You mentioned you have adoption events. Are they like always on the same days, and where are they?
Yes, we host our adoption events at the PetSmart at Harbison Boulevard. So that's 246 Harbison Boulevard in Columbia. We are there the first and third Saturday of the month. From 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
And if people want to get involved, they're not ready to foster, do you look for volunteers or people to help for those events?
Yes, we do. We need folks to help set up. That usually happens the Friday before. That's just setting up crates and setting up our table. And even if they wanted to, they could come in and help tear down. We need people to help us the day of. Just walking dogs, getting them out of their crates, people who want to look at dogs, helping getting them out of their crates and things like that. We do have, oftentimes students will come in and do some of their community service hours with us. We allow that. We just ask that anyone who's under 16, that a parent accompany them.
Oh, cool. And you said the first and third?
First and third Saturday of the month.
And the times again were?
12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. Now, if people want to volunteer or want to get involved, how do they go about doing that?
You can email us at homewardboundrescue@hotmail.com. I know it's an old email address, but that's homewardboundrescue@hotmail.com. And someone will get back to you, usually within 24 hours. Usually less than that, but we take Sundays off, so we don't usually respond to emails on Sunday unless it's an emergency.
You gotta have one day, right?
That's right. But yeah, they can email us, and we're also looking for folks. Sometimes we have a really nice mother and daughter that have taken some beautiful photos. The mom's a professional photographer. They've taken some beautiful photos of our dogs. If you have a talent, like that, and you'd want to come out and take some photos of our dogs. We do our best to take nice photos, but not sometimes you get what you get. But
that's right. Well, animals are hard.
Yeah, and we want to, we want our dogs to look their best on the website and so forth. So, sometimes we need folks to volunteer to wash rugs from the adoption event. Sometimes the dogs will have an accident, so we'll need the rugs.
That.
Yes, sometimes we'll need rugs washed. We're probably, as we move along with with trying to get the 4-legged 4K going, we'll need some volunteers for that. So, like I said, we have 2 volunteers that transport. We could always use some help with that. It doesn't have to be fostering if that's not something that you're able to do.
And you can donate supplies.
And you can donate supplies.
Supply list or
we
wish
do.
list.
Oh yeah, you have a wish list.
We have a wish list on our. We have a Chewy wish list and a Amazon wish list on our website. Our website is homewardboundsc.com because there's a couple Homeward Bounds across the country. So make sure you look for SC. But yeah, we have a wish list on our website, and you can also go to our website, and we have a merchandise link for our previous shirts that we've sold if you wanted to buy a shirt.
So, what would you say the most rewarding experience that you've had since you've been volunteering?
It is definitely seeing the dogs that I've fostered go into homes and just hearing about their progress. I always tell fosters, I always give them, like, this makes me emotional.
Getting a little teary-eyed.
Seeing how they're doing, several years on. I have one woman who she and her son adopted a puppy who was probably about 12 weeks old at the time, and she's now, I believe, she just celebrated her third year birthday, and her name's Maisie. And every year around her birthday, she sends me a picture of Maisie and just lets me know how she's doing. So it is just wonderful to see that, you know, the dogs have been adopted into their forever home and that they're thriving.
Yeah, that would have to be hard.
It is a little bit bittersweet sometimes to say goodbye, because you do get attached. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't
you
help
do
it.
you do get attached, but you also know when you're full, and that you're fostering.
Has to be sort of like a mommy timeout moment. Like, no, you stay there. I'm going in timeout.
Exactly. So you know when you're full, you know,
Right.
and that you're fostering, and you're kind of the temporary home until they find their forever home.
Sure. So, the next event after this would be your December 2nd. I think that's the Saturday.
It's November 4th.
After this airs, though.
Oh, after this airs, yes. Sorry, would be December the 2nd.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's December 2nd. And that will be the Harbison PetSmart from 12 to 4.
12 to
So
4,
December
that's right.
2nd. Okay,
right.
cool. And any fundraisers coming up?
There's nothing scheduled right now. But if you're thinking about year-end donations, all our donations are tax deductible. That's not true. We will have a giving grid after Thanksgiving on Giving Day, and we put it's called a giving grid, and it's just a big grid. We post it to our Facebook page, and we have an email list that we send out to. But you can pick a square on the grid and upload a photo of your pet and make a donation. That's another place to see a lot of Homeward Bound alumna.
Yeah. So the Facebook page is Homeward Bound SC as well, right?
Yes, if you search, I think it's homeward.bound.7. It's kind of an odd name, but I think it's homeward.bound.7. But if you search for Homeward Bound on Facebook, you'll find it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, what does everybody need to know? We found out, I guess, mostly how you can volunteer and how you can give back to you guys. What else? What's something else
how to
that everybody needs to know?
Yeah.
How to adopt. I will say this. We talked a little bit about it, but our adoption fee is $200, and that is for all dogs. It doesn't matter their age, whether they've been spayed or neutered, or what medical treatments we've provided for them. They're all $200. So that adoption fee includes age-appropriate vaccinations, spay, neuter, and a microchip. Everyone is microchipped. We want to make sure that everyone has some connection to you should they get lost.
Yeah.
And they can find their way home.
Any other questions, Dave?
Good.
Well, thank you so much. This was really neat.
Thank you
and
for having me. It was good meeting both of you.
And it's a little crazy when you think like $200. I mean, a spay or neuter. Well, I don't know about a neuter, but a spay costs way more than $200. So you're just really covering your.
We're really covering. We're trying to cover our expenses.
Yeah.
You know, those basic expenses.
By the time the food and medical and any sort of toys and all that stuff.
The other thing, fosters need to know. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Fosters, we provide whatever's necessary for you to foster. We get a lot. We obviously get a lot of donations, but we'll provide a crate if you need one. We will provide food bowls if you need them. We provide food. We provide toys, medical. Fosters don't need to provide any of those things. All we ask is that you learn as much as you can about the dogs so that we can find them the best possible home, and also bring them to our adoption events so that they can be seen.
And offer them a loving home.
And offer them a loving temporary home.
Temporary. Right. Yeah, there we go. Temporary. Yeah, that would have to be really hard, though.
I don't think I could do it.
You'd be surprised.
I know you could not.
You would be surprised. You'd be surprised. I didn't think I could either when I first started, but it's it's a good feeling when
you find it.
Right.
when that right home is found. Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was nice
Thank
meeting you both.
Nice meeting you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have a person, business, idea, an event that Lexington needs to know more about, email me, local@forallthingslexington.com. That's the number 4, y'all.
This episode was brought to you by the real estate agents at Home Matters, building on service, relationships, and on what matters to you. Find out how you matter and how they can help you with buying and selling your home at homematterssc.com.